Oh, hail a beard, it's your boy Big Beard B, and we back for another edition of Big Beard Business. Welcome. If you are new here, I am B, and on this channel we help you improve your confidence by way of compliments using the wonderful world of fragrance. As you can tell from today's title, we are here with a seasonal favorite. Yes, we're here with the top 10 best men's designer fragrances for 2020. Now, I like to throw this out there from time to time. Although this list is listed as best men's designer fragrances for 2020, it doesn't mean that it's the best for you. These fragrances are the 10 fragrances from the designer world that I will be exploring a bit more this winter. And there's a number of reasons why, and we'll talk about them now. The first fragrance up comes from a company that I really like a lot of their fragrances, and all of the fragrances within this flanker series I enjoy as well. This one comes from Valentino, and this one is Valentino UOMO Noir Absolu. Now, if you know anything about Valentino, then you know that their fragrances are really nice. Years ago, I talked about Valentino UOMO Aqua, right? That was a great fragrance for me in the spring and summer. But this go around, I'm talking about this one here, which is Noir Absolu. Now, this one is this woody, spicy fragrance that kind of has some of those same nuances that you get in the original fragrance, but they take a different twist as a flanker should. Now, this one is discontinued from my understanding, but if you can find it at a respectable price, is one of those fragrances I would tell you to pick up. This one has sandalwood, you have cinnamon, you have some black pepper, so you get that spiciness with the scent, and it's one that I think you will enjoy. This is one you can dress up or dress down, take it on a date night. It's going to work. Valentino UOMO Noir Absolu. This next one I figured I'd get right out of the way because it's no stranger to list on my channel, and you guys already know that I'm going to be rocking this one this winter or any other time I feel like it. This one comes from MAISON MARGIELA, and this one is by the Fireplace. Now, MAISON MARGIELA has a number of fragrances that would work well for you in cold weather situations, especially when it comes to those black bottle fragrances or those eau de parfum fragrances, because those are a bit more intense in my opinion. But this fragrance here is one that I find is cuddle buddy worthy. I gave it a 10 out of 10. It's like chestnuts, roasting fire. There's a little bit of sweetness, some woods here, and it just works, man. I'm a big fan of this scent, and it's one of these fragrances that I spray on when it comes to that cuddle buddy session. So if you're looking for a fragrance that would do that for you, I think that this is one that you can definitely grab. Or ladies out there, you're looking for a fragrance for yourself or for that special gentleman in your life, this is definitely one of those ones that I think you can enjoy. Now, as with a lot of the fragrances within this replica series, they're really close to what they said to replicate. So if you want to know what this fragrance smells like, it smells like you're by a fireplace, all right? So if you don't like roasted woods or anything like that, or smoke, it's not smoky, but there's some smoke in here, then this is probably not a scent for you. But aside from that, if you enjoy those things, I think this one will work. By the Fireplace from MAISON MARGIELA. Now, this next fragrance is also, like the first fragrance I mentioned, a part of a fragrance flanker series, and there was a new release of this flanker this year, which was the Parfum of 1 million. Now, for me, I think that this is not the one that I'm going to be rocking this winter. I know a lot of people out there would kind of grab for the Privé fragrance, but the one that I'm going to go for is 1 million Lucky. 1 million Lucky has everything for me specifically. I really enjoy this scent. It has that sweetness in here. You have that plum and that hazelnut that really combine extremely well and provide a bit different take and aspect of what I would expect from this line. I know that some women out there mentioned that this one smells amazing. It smells like sex and everything else, but this thing here, man, if you're looking to get lucky, wear lucky. This one is a solid scent, man. You really can't go wrong with this thing. For me, I like to wear this thing all year round. I know not everyone is going to do that, but if you were looking for just one to grab from their lineup, this is definitely one of those fragrances that I tell people to try for first. So 1 million Lucky from the house of PACO. And since we mentioned newer releases, I think that this one is a nice twist on a I would say this fragrance is going to be legendary. Not this one specifically, but the fragrance that this one is most closely related to, in my opinion, is a legendary scent, and this is from Jean-Paul Gaultier. That fragrance is Ultramar, but the fragrance we're talking about is L'Amour Le Parfum. All right, so this one here, to me, although this one is a flanker of the original, it's more in line with Ultramar, but it's more sophisticated. The sweetness is toned down. It doesn't jump off as much as the Ultramar does, but it still does jump off the skin, but it's a bit more refined in its approach, and I think that's really good. I've mentioned this before. I think that this fragrance is really good for those of us who really enjoyed Ultramar but begin to grow up and did not go back to that one as much. I think that this fragrance is definitely going to work for you. If you're a bit more mature now, let's say in your 30s, and you want a fragrance that's reminiscent to that, it's less aggressive, toned down a bit, but also yields similar results, right? It's still going to jump off the skin. Again, less aggressive, going to garner you compliments and make you feel good and confident when wearing it. This is one that I would tell you to grab for. This is also a newer release, so as a 2020 release, is not going to be, you know, a mass amount of people that have this one in their collection yet, but I would assume that as its popularity continues to grow, this one will, you know, be in collection. So be ahead of the curve on this one, get it in your collection, and rock this thing like a boss. L'Amour Le Parfum. The next fragrance is from YSL, and this one is YEDP. Now, this is a fragrance that I wasn't immediately sold on, although others were, and I think that you can really get sold on this one quickly. For me, this one came off a little bit too cloying, although I do like sweet fragrances, and there's this metallic feel to it that could be off-putting, but to me, I really like that metallic feel in this scent, and I think a lot of people do as well. This one will garner you lots of compliments, and it's also a different take on the fragrances that we talked about thus far. This one isn't as dark as those fragrances. It's a bit lighter. It still jumps off the skin. It performs. It garners compliments, and again, when you get those compliments coming in, it helps improve that confidence. Well, at least it does for me. YSL has been known to do great things with fragrances, and this one is really no different. If we look back to the L'Homme series, you have Lil Homie, you know, La Nuit de L'Homme, and just a list of other fragrances there that have really gone into a more of a classic state. I think this YSL Y series was a nice change from those fragrances, and each one of these scents I've really enjoyed, whether it's the original Y, which is the EDT, Y Eau Fresh, the EDP version, or Y Live. I'm a big fan of all in all. So a great fragrance to wear for me this fall. I'm gonna rock this thing when I can. YSL Y EDP. Now we're at the halfway point on this list, and this next fragrance is one that I feel is sophisticated, probably a bit more mature than most of the fragrances on today's list, but it's one that works, especially in this cold weather. For those of you who don't know, I've moved to Tennessee, and here it's a lot colder than it was in Florida. I mean, I've been waking up to 20-degree days. I know some of you get weather that's a lot colder than that, but you know, snow, etc. Although it wasn't sticking, there was still snow. All right, this fragrance comes from the house of Dior, and this one is Dior Homme Parfum. All right, so this is the darker juice, and with this one you still get that legendary iris note that you get across the entire Dior Homme lineup, with the exception of the 2020 release. That one takes a different twist, but for me, this one is a sophisticated, mature scent that I can wear into the office and still get compliments through the mask. All right, so this one here for me is really one that is probably not for like a younger high school kid. I guess you could get away with it, but I feel like if you were more so in college, senior year, etc., this is a fragrance that you could wear. And also, if you're obviously an adult going to work, I think that this fragrance is, or if you own your own business, all right, you're an entrepreneur out here in these streets, this is a fragrance that is one that I recommend. It's a bit more harder to find than the fragrances that we talked about thus far. I had this one brought to me directly from Italy, where, you know, outside of that, I've only seen this in person within duty-free places within airports. I know some of you out there have seen it other places. That's just my personal experience with this one. Nice scent overall. Dior Homme Parfum. Next up on our list, we have a 2020 release from the house of Montblanc. Now, I've been a fan of their fragrances over the years, and this one is really no different for me. I first sprayed this fragrance, I was like, it's okay. And then I walked upstairs and came back downstairs, and I was like, whoop, something smells great. And it was this fragrance here, which is Montblanc Legend Eau de Parfum. All right, so if you're familiar with the Montblanc series in terms of their Legend fragrances, this is the newest addition to this lineup, and it has some of the similar notes and nuances that you would get in the original, but it changes up a bit, again, as we would expect from a flanker series. For me, I feel that the fruitiness from the original is toned down a bit. This one is a bit more mature. It's fresh, it's a semi-sweet scent, and it also has this more mature vibe to it. Now, with that being said, it doesn't smell anything like this fragrance. Is not mature on this level, but compared to the original, it is. I still believe that this fragrance is one for those men out there who are confident and sure of themselves and can also be okay with the attention. This one is going to reach out, touch someone, and make them say, hey, what do you have on, buddy? And this scent is definitely one of those fragrances, at least for me, from the initial wearings. Now I have to do this more and more, obviously, and I gotta get your official review on this. I know a few people have theirs out, but I haven't released mine yet, so there you go. Good one to add into the collection for the winter, especially to spruce things up a bit, get some of that freshness going on within your winter fragrance collection, but also has that staying power too. Montblanc Legend Eau de Parfum. This next fragrance up is a 2020 release as well, and it's a bit different twist from the others within this series. This one comes from Armani, and this one is Armani Stronger With You Leather. If you know anything about these fragrances, there is this synthetic sweetness that kind of resonates and shows its head throughout the entire collection, whether that's the original, the Intensely, the Freeze, or now this fragrance. Now that sweetness is toned down just a bit within this one, and it obviously has that leather integrated within this scent. I really feel on first spray there's some battling of that, but it's one that I think they did well. Like, now I'm interested to see where we'll continue to go with these Stronger With You flankers, if we'll see them continue to do stuff like they did with the L'Homme series with YSL, or they'll, you know, be done with this from here. I guess it really depends on how this one sells. I've really been a fan of all of them, and I think that you can really grab any of them for this time of year. My first thought was to grab Freeze or Intensely, just because this one is newer in my collection. I'll probably spend a bit more time with this one, but I don't think that you would go wrong with any of them. I gave the original an 8, I believe. I gave the Intensely a 9. I don't believe I get fresh official review yet, but this one here is one that I'll be wearing, rocking, feeling good. The leather pops up and shows its head from time to time. It's not like a super aggressive leather, but it plays the role well. So if you're into just trying to ease your way into these leather-based fragrances, this is probably one of those ones that you can do it with if you are open to it. So there you have it, Stronger With You Leather. And since I'm talking about a leather scent, I think that this fragrance really just deserves a spot on this list. This one comes from the master of seduction himself. You guys know who that is. That's Tom Ford, aka Tom 40 Ford, and this one is Tom Ford's Ombre Leather 2018. Now, to me, I don't really care which ombre leather you have, just as long as you have one within your collection. This thing for me is one that is sophisticated, it's masculine, it jumps off of the skin, it lures you in, and it's really sexy. I think that this fragrance is one of those manly man scents that you rock like a boss and you feel like a champ when you do it. I'm a huge fan of the Ombre Leather series, and I won't call it a series because it went from the private blend over to the signature side, and now that it's here back in the signature side, man, I've just been excited about this one. This is one of these fragrances that I really feel that I can rock when I feel like it. I remember I was giving a presentation one day, put this thing on, yeah, your boy was smelling like a champ. Just walked in that thing knowing I was the man with this on. So leather wind fragrances for me is really a note that can go wrong, but when done well, it's done well. I'm happy with this one here. Great fragrance from Tom Ford. Just everything you need in the scent here Tom Ford's Ombre Leather. And the final fragrance on our list is a bomb. It's a spice bomb, and this one is Spice Bomb Extreme, okay? This one is an explosion of spicy notes here. There's some sweetness within this scent. You guys know everything you need to know about Spice Bomb Extreme. Like, this one was a 9 out of 10 for me as well. Within this Spice Bomb lineup, again, all of these fragrances kind of have that same fiery feel with it. This representation of something that's burning on the inside of you, but this fragrance is the representation of that, and it pops off the skin and lets them know. If you're looking for those close encounter date night situations, you pop a few sprays of this thing on and you're gonna smell like the sexy man that she wants you to be. All right, Spice Bomb Extreme from Victor and Rolf. So those are the fragrances that I'll be rocking more so than others this winter as we go into 2021. Now you guys know how this is, man. These fragrances are ones that I'm gonna rock, spend some attention to, and obviously as I get new fragrances, and I'll continue to do the same thing there. But if you're looking for a list to start out with, or some things that you can grab for, you know, friends, family members, etc., for the holiday season, this is definitely some fragrances you should check out for them, because I think that these will get great attention and smell well. Like, a lot of people will like them. So that's my thoughts and opinions on these fragrances. What fragrances will you be rocking this winter? I would love to know. Stay tuned. We have the niche list on the way. As always, I'm your boy, Big B. Beat them with like, comment, and subscribe. Tell a friend that we are back again. And you already know what I need you to do. Just hit the goddamn bell.